Oh Lord, I'm done with it. I finished it. Not in the context that I was hoping to finish it in. This is a tale of a victory, but not of the victory that I was expecting to accomplish. See, here's the thing. I thought I'm going to give a shot to installing Gentoo. I'm going to do it within the 5-day series and we're going to see how things go. Things went. We'll definitely say that things went. The problem that I came across is the first 3-ish days were me installing it. So I started off with trying to install Gentoo by myself on Sunday. Then on Monday, I did a live stream trying to install it and trying to grasp it. And I totally can understand why people that daily drive and love using Gentoo would say that I did a horrible job, because in all honesty, I was completely lost. The command set didn't make sense to me. Installing it didn't make sense to me, and I had hopes that, I would be able to understand it easier with time. And I do. I understand how to search. I understand how to, use the emerge command um to try and find the packages that I need and then install packages that I need. Um, but Gentoo is its own beast. Now, that shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. Gentoo is designed different than any of the mainstream type distros that you'd be familiar with, like CashOS, which is based off of Arch. That's what I'm running right now, or inside of Fedora or Ubuntu. Now you might say, hey, you like to do the recordings of these things inside of the operating system. That's fine. Except for in this scenario, I wasn't able to really get anywhere. I'm able to record. I was able to use some things, but like my camera just didn't work. I was never able to install Steam. It's now Thursday, which is day 5, and at this point, I'm just tapping out. Not tapping out though in the context that I've given up. I'm still going to keep playing with Gen 2. We might see an update in a month or 6 months once I've kind of started to understand things, but gaming and life and everything must go on. I need to be able to use a computer. Um, that can facilitate the things that I need. So reluctantly, and it is reluctantly, I have to step away for a little while because I've put the limited amount of time that I have to do things like make these videos into full force trying to get Gentoo to work. One of the perfect examples is I went through the entire install process. It didn't work at all after that live stream. There were some things that I definitely misunderstood and whatnot, and so I went to my default answer, which is to go to the tools that I have, which is using Gemini and ChatGPT. I know people are gonna dislike it, but for the purposes of going in and trying to understand the operating system that you enjoy as a Gentoo user, afford me the understanding of I do understand computers. I'm just not grasping this one. And, you know, AI is a tool in my world where I can utilize that to try and get a better hang on what's going on. I had it explain things to me, understanding why the emerge command works the way that it does, understanding what the merge command communicates with, which is completely escaping me. I'll probably put it somewhere up here so this way you guys have it. But how it actually communicates with that to request packages and kind of trying to understand, really like how every bit is compiled. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I can see why people that use Gen 2 use it. Um, but when audio doesn't work, I can't get Steam running. Discord, I was able to install that relatively easy. When it comes to like the baseline of like where I try to go with these videos, with the idea of getting a user into, hey, let's play video games. I wasn't able to get there. I wasn't able to get there at all. I'm still fighting to install Steam. I don't want to use something like Flatpak to install Steam. I want to, compile it and do it the proper Gen 2 way. So it's just going to take me some time. That being said, I did refer to Gen 2 as people enjoying it, um, as it being a trauma bond. And the reason why I hate that type of phrase that it's become way diluted, but you go through this whole concept with Gen 2 and manually configuring everything for your specific CPU and hardware that is in your computer now. Obviously, those things can evolve over time. So if I wanted to replace my graphics card and say I wanted to go to like an NVIDIA graphics card, I would just change out I would just change it out so this way it's compiled for the kernel to specifically handle the NVIDIA card. Like it makes a lot of sense. You have the most fine-tuned, no bloat, everything is specifically custom built to that computer. That takes a lot of time. And for a guy that has maybe 30 minutes a day to work on videos and actually put them together, after I get home from work and then I got to go to bed and then I got to make the family food and I got to, all of that, it just doesn't fit into my lifestyle as a daily driver at the moment. I can learn it, I can understand it. It just is going to take me some time. So I want to revisit Gen 2. But I did the live stream where I was using Gen 2. Kind of. In total, I spent 28 hours installing Gentoo from Sunday until shoot, what was that? Last night, Wednesday? No, no, it had to been Tuesday evening. Tuesday went, yeah. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We're on Thursday. This is day 5. Um, yeah, I didn't get until yesterday the ability to actually properly use my system in a way that worked. I was able to get Chromium and Google Chrome and get Kitty put on, and then throw fish into that and do things like fast fetch, which is another type of like neo fetch. I was able to go in and do um, uh, a few things. I was able to do a lot of things. I was able to fix the audio issue that I was having with Pulse Audio and Pipewire. I was able to get OBS running to where I'm at least able to record, which, depending on how I feel when it comes to the editing process, you're probably seeing snippets of that experience now and throughout this video. I don't have any hatred towards Gen 2. I just think that I need a lot more time to play with it before I can give any real, like, hey, this is where I'm at. This is what I think um answer. It makes perfect sense though to me to use Gentoo. It does. Because the hardware is going to be utilized to its fullest performance. The only thing that I have to say that really sucks is compiling everything. Any level of update just takes time. Updates happen to software while I was recording and going through this process. And that was kind of rough to watch, something that I had put together. I think there was an update. I forget what it was that there was an update to, but it required like an additional, like, it took like an hour and a half just to do it. OBS itself took 3 hours to compile. I don't know, maybe I'm doing something wrong. I'm going to completely start fresh in that process because I want to do the install without any assistance from something like AI. I think it's a useful tool, especially when it comes to I have limited time. So I'm going to play with it a little bit more, likely inside of VMs. I may pull this hard drive that it's installed to out for right now, so that this way I can throw another one in its place to install to. I've got a few of those Kingston 240s. Um, but yeah, it was it was rough. It was a rough experience. but it was fun. I enjoyed it. I can see the value to the system, but time wise, oh man, that was also that was a bit rough. That was I spent a good 3 days just installing the operating system, just finding my foothold in it. If you're interested in trying Gentoo, go for it. You don't even have to leave the operating system that you're in. Like I did all of that install from this Arch CachyOS system. It was pretty solid. It was pretty fun. It was enjoyable. It was also just completely heart-wrenching because like I'm watching the install process go through and I'm like, "Oh, will it boot? Will it work?" Having to handle the UUIDs and whatnot for the FS tab folder, like you're building everything down to how the system boots and like what drives it boots to. And I wound up in the end because I was using AI to assist me. I was like, screw it, I'm going with BTRFS because I really like the BTRFS. That was fun. I was able to install um Refine and set that up so this way I was able to boot into my other drives easily. It was solid. It was great. I'm gonna keep playing with it. So for any of you that have been like, hey, you know, how'd that live stream go? What was the end out? End the outcome at the end. What are your thoughts about Gentoo? I think Gentoo fits exactly the needs of the users that use it. And by that I mean I don't think that I'm ever going to go full Gen 2. I just don't think so. What I do think though is that for people that are passionate about building things and understanding deep intricacies of their system, Gen 2 is exactly what they need. I and it fits a niche. It's not going to be something that's beginner friendly ever, and it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be something that some dumb YouTuber can go off and install in 5 days and then say, "Hey, I was able to do Gen 2 no problem." That's what Arch is for. Arch is for, you know, hey, people make it sound like it's harder than what it needs to be. Gen 2 is a love language with the hardware that you interact with. It's a passion for the thing that you dedicate the time to. It's that hobby car in the garage that's just by the time it's done, you're getting 450 horsepower to the floor because you put in all of the time into honing out the cylinders, sleeving the cylinders right, specifically picking which pistons you're putting into the car. And that's what Gen 2 is. It's a custom built system just for you. So, with that, I think it's a solid system and I want to play with it more. It's just my time limitations are vast and I need to move over to the next video. But for you Gen 2 users, whether you like it or you don't, I'm going to be here a little bit longer and I'll check back in with you guys. Do me a favor, join the Discord. We're always happy to have other people come in. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to do that down in the comment section down below or on our Discord. And do me a favor to help me with my trauma bond that I have started to build. Leave a like on this video. See you guys in the next one. Don't be afraid to dive on into the rift.